mixes with us. Some find life, some find peace, some people even find joy. Some see things as they never could before, and some people find that they can now begin to trust. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great and beautiful, wonderful things. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Some find health, some find hope, some people even find joy. Some see themselves as they never could before, and some people find that they can now begin to live. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great and beautiful, wonderful things. Great things happen when God mixes with us.
The scripture readings for this morning will be from Genesis 1, 26 through 27, Romans 8, 29, 2 Corinthians 3, 18, 2 Corinthians 3, 17. When God said, "Let us make human beings in our image, after our likeness," God created them in the divine image. In the image of God, humankind was created, male and female. God began to mix with us. Those whom God foreknew, God also predestined to share the image of the Son of God, in order that the Son might be the firstborn of many brothers and sisters. All of us, gazing on the Lord's glory with unveiled faces, are being transformed from glory to glory into the very image of the Lord, by the Lord who is the Spirit. The Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom.
Many, many years ago, there was a princess who lived in the fabled Empire of China. The emperor's only daughter, as beautiful as she was intelligent. The time came for her to marry, and after consulting with her father, she decided not to select just one of the court or some man she happened to know. She wanted to meet the finest, most handsome and interesting man in the whole kingdom. The princess believed that a person's appearance showed what one truly was, and that the depth of a person's inner being showed in that person's face. Leaders of the court were sent out into every corner of the kingdom to announce that the handsomest young men were to appear in the court on the appointed day. In a far-off province of the empire, there lived a very crafty man, anything but good-looking. Indeed, one could tell from the hardness of his face that he was cruel and harsh. This thief and murderer went to the best mask maker in China and ordered the most lifelike, handsome mask that this craftsman could imagine. In those days, mask making was one of the highest arts in China. Even so, when the thief saw the mask he had ordered, he was amazed, even startled. He looked in the mirror and gasped in astonishment. Instead of the cruel, hard look of a murderer, he saw before him a man of refinement and gentleness, of power and dignity, a man of strength and honesty, kindness and generosity. He could hardly believe his eyes. When he came to the court, there was no question about his passing the first test, and he was sent on with others to the royal palace itself. There he mixed with the greatest and finest people of the kingdom. The princess was not easily swayed, but as she compared the masked thief with the other men, she chose him. She asked him to marry her. Suddenly, he saw the impossible alternatives. If he said no, he would certainly be discovered and brought to justice. If he married her, she would soon learn the truth and have him executed. He regretted the day when he had started on such a foolhardy venture. He was silent for a while, but then he hit upon a plan. He told the princes that he had never dreamed of being selected and that he needed a little time to consider what was involved, and 1 year from today, he would return with his answer. The princess was most understanding. This seemed like a wise decision, and so they parted. The thief found his life quite altered. He could no longer disappear. He was now known as the most handsome man in the kingdom, and he had to act out that role. He had to guard every word. He had to learn to act with charm and grace and courage. He learned kindness and generosity, those qualities that were so manifest in his face. He began to show understanding and mercy, often consoling the sad, comforting the unhappy. And all this time he was acutely conscious that he was quite different from his mask. Never for a moment could he forget what he truly was. You can imagine the agony he felt as a masked fraud. How careful he had to be. How much energy and effort he put into his acting. When people appreciated his actions or spoke well of him, he shuddered inside because he knew what he really was. He was horrified at how easily people could be deceived by one's actions. But the worst horror was the realization that the time was approaching for him to return to the princess. The day for the meeting came. He finally decided to tell her the whole truth and take the consequences, whatever they might be. Probably he would be beheaded for his treachery. They met once more in the great hall of the palace, and as they approached each other, the thief fell to the floor at the feet of the princess and sobbed out loud, "I have deceived you. I'm only a thief and a scoundrel. I had this mask made so that I might get a chance to come inside and see the royal palace and meet the princess who is renowned above all other women. I'm truly sorry, for I have delayed your plans for a whole year." At first, the princess was very angry, but then she decided at least she should learn from the experience. She was still intrigued by the mask and wondered what the man was like underneath it. So she reached her hand out and raised him to his feet. "Yes, I've been deceived. But give me one pleasure and I will let you go free. Take off your mask and let me see what you really look like, and then you can go." In fear and trembling, the thief removed his mask. It was then that the princess cried out in real anger, "Why have you deceived me? Why did you have a mask made just like your real face?" The masquerader shook his head in confusion. The princess handed him a mirror. Yes, it was true. His real face had become the same as the mask. For a whole year he had suffered and struggled to live up to the mask he wore, and finally he had become what he was trying to be. The truth had set him free. He truly had become what he aspired to be. Of course, the story ended just as we would expect. The couple were married, and the transformed thief became one of the greatest emperors that China ever had. Through truth, through the truth that I am made in God's image and likeness, through the truth that I am predestined to share the image of God's only begotten Son, through the truth that I am being transformed into the very image of the Lord by the Lord who is Spirit, and that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom, through truth to freedom. What does all this mean? I invite you to reflect with me by closing your eyes and breathe deeply. Get in touch with your center, your true self. What is God like? What is God's image like? Each of us bears the ineffable touch of the great architect who created us in God's image and made us a little lower than the angels. Which touch of the great architect is mine? Goodness? Love? Efficacy? Which personality gifts are mine predominantly? Originality? Loyalty? Wisdom? Do I realize that I was created with fascinating qualities that make me endlessly interesting? Which face of God do I reflect? Joy? Power? Peace? Do I believe that I am to reflect God's image at Augsburg, at home, wherever I may go today? Am I willing to invest time to become that fuller reality God had in mind when I came to be? Am I so full of God's image that it comes forth out of me, oozes out of me unexpectedly? Does my face feel uncomfortable now? Perhaps I'm wearing a false mask. That's why it doesn't fit. I must discard it. But before I discard the mask, what can I learn from it? What can I learn from my mistakes? Am I patient when I seem to have no results? Do I recall that the effort is mine, but the result is God's? Am I in touch further with the truth that besides me, God made all other human beings in God's image and likeness, and that God expects me to respect each one of them as God respects me and as God respects them? Do I recognize God in the outfit of that Native American, that Hispanic, that Caucasian, that Black, that Chinese, that disabled student, that abled student, that international student, that gay, that lesbian, that staff member, that faculty member, that administrator, that president, that Democrat, that Republican, that Lutheran, that Catholic? Is my face uncomfortable again? Time to remove another false mask? Ah, yes, to err is human, but to forgive is divine. Do I forgive? God's gift to me is who I am, and my gift to God is what I become. Does God see godliness mirrored in me, regardless of the many masks I may be wearing? How does the one I'm wearing now fit? Is it the same as my own face? Has my real face become the same as God's image? have I put on the Lord Jesus Christ? Have I immersed myself in God's Spirit, God's ideals, God's values? Do I act like it? Wait a minute, I say. Do you realize how much faith is being expected of me to believe all this? That I am being transformed into the very image of the Lord, who is the Spirit. Turn it about. Reverse it. Do I realize how much faith God has in me to have predestined me to share the image of the Son of God, in order that the Son might be the firstborn of many brothers and sisters? What is left for me to do except to reciprocate equal faith in God, assured of the things I hope for, convinced of the things I've not yet seen? I do believe. Help my unbelief. Through truth to freedom. Freedom from robbing myself and murdering in myself my own pursuit to this freedom. Freedom to become that fuller reality God had in mind when I came to be. Freedom to be transformed into God's very image by the Lord, who is the Spirit. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. To thine own self be true. The truth shall make me free. We'll sing the third verse of the song.
Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Great and beautiful, wonderful things. Great things happen when God mixes with us. Some find peace, some are disturbed. Some people even find joy. Some say their lives as they never could before, and some people find begin to change. When God mixes with us, great things happen. When God mixes with us, great and beautiful, wonderful things. Great things happen when God mixes with us.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Gracious God, because of your power, I am alive. Because of your love, I am immortal. Because of your mercy, I am grateful. Because of your guidance, I am wise. Because of your creation, I am wealthy. Because of your touch, I am whole. Because of your presence, I am joyful. Because of your peace, I am serene. Because of your truth, I am free. Because of you, I am. Thank you.
There are two announcements. The first is that David Swanson will be giving the homily tonight at Eucharist right here at 9:30. This is National Disabilities Week, and I know that We have much to hear from Dave. And the second is that Doris Groven is our support person in campus ministry, and it just happens that it is her birthday today. And we have a cake for all of you to eat to celebrate that during community time. And we will sing happy birthday to her following the service. Receive the benediction. The Lord direct our days and our deeds in peace. Go in peace. Serve the Lord.